Welcome to PeopleSoft Now. I'm Rebekah Jackson. In this episode, we explore a very important question. What does innovation look like in this really unusual year we're having? Who's innovating with PeopleSoft? What are they doing? And most importantly, was it worth it? In this episode, we're focused on helping you figure out what to do next with PeopleSoft and how to make the most of it. Thanks for joining us. This episode is all about exploring what innovating with PeopleSoft looks like in the era of a global pandemic. We'll start by announcing the latest PeopleSoft Innovators so that you have good insight into what fellow members in the community are doing. We used to make these announcements at in-person conferences, but since those aren't happening anymore, we're using this program so that you can get inspiration and insight. After we announce the innovators, we'll start by talking with the state of Texas, who's gone all in running PeopleSoft on Oracle Cloud infrastructure. We'll talk about what they've done, and most importantly, if it's paying off in this era of constrained operating budgets. Next, we'll have our first ever customer roundtable discussion with Deakin University, Disys, and Car Global. We'll talk about what's delivering value for them, how they're using PeopleSoft to respond to unexpected challenges, and what they're planning to do next. And we've got a great top 5 tips for you. I've asked members of the PeopleSoft product development team to take a look at the published innovator stories and pick the one that they think offers you some compelling insight. As always, we've got a lot to cover, so let's dive in. We have a great group of PeopleSoft customers adopting features and breaking new ground. I'd like to start by recognizing our feature innovators, customers that have adopted a specific new feature. College of Lake County has deployed the new Fluid delegations so managers can easily set up delegations for approval transactions from any device. FTI Consulting is using drop zones with their HCM employee self-service and administrator pages to add their own custom content without modifying delivered functionality. And Loyola University Chicago used Oracle Digital Assistant and the PeopleSoft chatbot integration framework to deploy a digital assistant for students and advisors to overwhelmingly positive feedback and successful response rates. See the new Feature Innovators section on PeopleSoftInfo.com for stats, screenshots, and more information. And now, our newest PeopleSoft Innovators. Community Foundation of Northwest Indiana automated more than 1,000 tests using PeopleSoft Test Framework, which streamlined business operations, reduced the time needed for testing, and made it easier to keep up with the latest images and features. They created a custom work center to manage the automation execution. They used pivot grids and dashboards to present staff with tiles that have live AP data, driving focused action and cutting the dollar value of their exceptions by more than half. They used Forms and Approval Builder to automate many paper forms and manual processes. They deployed Fluid approvals, and they converted custom bolt-on applications to Fluid. Comptroller of Public Accounts for the state of Texas, in conjunction with their partner Accenture, migrated all of their production and non-production PeopleSoft environments to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI, as of March 2019. They now have more than 120 PeopleSoft environments in the cloud. In addition to cost savings, the move improved performance, availability, and the ability to respond without disruption as agencies go live. As the first state government running PeopleSoft in OCI, the results have been exceptional, with projected cost savings of more than 50%. Deakin University continues their multi-year innovation effort, using PeopleSoft to enhance the experience for their users. Most recently, Deakin selectively adopted a number of new features, including mobile payslip, org chart export, and the new announcements tile. PeopleSoft activity guides and work centers were used extensively to improve HR business processes, automate contract expiration management, and more. Disys widely deployed the Fluid user interface, including delivered capabilities like the Fluid timesheet as well as custom Fluid pages, all branded using macro sets and themes. They used Page and Field Configurator to remove invasive page customizations while retaining their tailored experience by user role, and adopted event mapping to isolate customizations. REST-based web services have been used to integrate PeopleSoft with Workplace, Facebook's collaboration tool, where employees can now update PeopleSoft timesheets, absences, and approvals. FTI Consulting deployed a branded Fluid and Classic Plus user experience with home pages and tiles, and used selective adoption to deploy features and capabilities like the Payroll Workcenter and Elasticsearch. They isolated customizations by making use of drop zones in employee self-service and used event mapping. And they used REST-based web services and JSON to integrate with third-party SaaS solutions. CAR Global, in conjunction with their partner MyPro Consulting, recently completed their Fluid user experience rollout and took advantage of several new features that PeopleSoft offers. Using Fluid for expenses and approvals helped streamline business processes and made responding to an all-remote work environment easier for employees and managers. While pretty vanilla by PeopleSoft standards, they used Page and Field Configurator to eliminate label changes on delivered pages and eliminated other surface-level changes, putting them in a position to more easily stay current and rapidly adopt new features. And Temple University Health System used PeopleSoft to make all of their employees' job descriptions available electronically through employee self-service. Managers can now view job descriptions for their team members through self-service, which helped both the managers and their direct reports understand what is expected from them, set clear expectations, and drive improvement in job performance. Please help me congratulate the innovators for their achievements and results. To learn more about what these customers have done and how they did it, see the published stories on PeopleSoftInfo.com. And, of course, stay tuned for a discussion on OCI with the State of Texas Comptroller and our customer roundtable discussion with Deakin University, Disys, and CAR Global. I'm pleased to welcome Chelsea Van Clark and Ivan Mazok from the State of Texas Comptroller Department to the program. Chelsea, Ivan, thanks for joining me.
Hi, thank you.
So I think everyone's pretty familiar with the state of Texas, but what role does the Comptroller's Office play in the PeopleSoft ecosystem, and what applications do you run?
I'll start with the applications that we run. We run both HCM and FSCM, and this spring we went live with ELM, so we're running all three of those under our purview now. As far as what role we play with the state of Texas, although we are just the Comptroller's Office, we hold the software license and we run the software for our suite of state agencies. So that includes, any agencies for the state of Texas. We're still in the process of deploying some, so not everyone's quite on with us yet, but they will be in the next few years. And we also run a hub application for a few state agencies that hold their own database on their side, but we pass them our version, CAPS, after we've made our modifications, and then they make their necessary modifications on that.
And about how many agencies are in the state of Texas?
There are about 120 agencies in the state, and we'll be fully deployed over the next few years.
Wow, so that's a lot of, essentially a lot of customers that you serve.
Absolutely.
How many environments, PeopleSoft environments, is the state of Texas running to support your ongoing implementation activities, as well as the agencies that are now live and in production?
We have around 120 environments right now, so that's our full steady state production support environments for the agencies that are already on, as well as a suite of deployment environments for the agencies that are making the move over to our CAPS.
What do you use Oracle Cloud Infrastructure for, and how long have you been using it?
Well, the state of Texas started their move to OCI in September of 2018, and the project lasted about 7 months, taking our OCI implementation live April 1st, 2019. We moved over 120 PeopleSoft environments to OCI and switched from Oracle databases on Red Hat Linux to Oracle Exadata servers using Platform as a Service offering. In addition to the databases, we moved our application web servers and app servers to OCI and taking advantage of our infrastructure as a service offering there as well. We have been on the OCI solution now for over 14 months.
Okay, and so you use it both for production and non-production use cases, dev, test, production, patching, essentially for all of your activities. All of those scenarios are now running in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure for PeopleSoft?
That is correct, 100%.
Okay. I had heard that you projected pretty significant cost savings moving to OCI. I think it was in the order of 50%. Since you've been on OCI for a while now, what have you seen? Has that materialized?
So we're in the process of running those numbers now. We've been on a little over a year fully on, so it's giving us an opportunity to go back and take a look at that. But what we do know right now is we're projecting for this last fiscal year that we saved in the range of around $2 million.
Wow, okay. And so my next question was going to be, was the investment worth it? I'm guessing with those numbers, the answer is yes, but not to put words in your mouth. Was it worth it?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, that's a significant amount of money that we can, as stewards of taxpayer dollars, we can do something else with.
Aside from cost savings, have there been any other benefits?
Yes, the state of Texas had 4 goals when we implemented OCI. Projected cost savings, which we achieved. Chelsea just mentioned that. Then the improved system performance, which we were able to achieve 50 to 60% improvement in some performance, and a system design that supported high application availability. And then the ability to add agencies without a major installation effort or architecture change while we move some of our larger agencies on towards the end of our deployments.
In this climate of really tight budgets and hard choices that I think everybody is having to make, what's making the cut for you to do next with PeopleSoft? What do you have planned for the next 6 to 12 months?
So we have a couple of exciting things that we're planning to do. In September, we're going to be launching a travel and expense module in FSCM. And for us, this will be a first opportunity to have a real employee self-service feature as part of our PeopleSoft suite that's financials driven. We have, obviously running ESS for our HCM modules, but this is the first time that we'll be able to link those things. And we're very excited about the interface between these 2 databases, and we're working really hard to make sure that the user experience is still really positive and the user doesn't need to tell the difference that they've jumped into a different database to do something. We want a really seamless experience. So we're really excited to launch that in September. Our biggest project this year will come in April. We're launching an IAM solution, an identity access management solution for our PeopleSoft suite login purposes. We're in the process now of implementing Appsian into our environments to be able to make that connection. And we're excited for what the benefits of security that's still going to provide.
That sounds like a couple of really exciting things to look forward to. I think you had mentioned you are running in clustered environments. You have HCM and the financials and supply chain database clustered, and you're doing that through People Tools. You're not using Interaction Hub. Is that correct?
That's correct. We dropped Interaction Hub this past April, and that's the way we're linked now.
That's excellent. That's definitely the way, now that we've enabled that capability directly through People Tools, that's certainly what we're recommending to customers. It's great to talk to somebody live that's doing it, and soon to roll out self-service that'll be able to be on an integrated homepage. That's great.
Yeah, we're excited for that. We also have ELM wrapped in there also. When we dropped Interaction Hub, we added ELM at the same time. It was a great experience, and so we've got all 3 of those running together.
That's great to hear. Chelsea, Ivan, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Stay tuned for a roundtable discussion with 3 more innovators. Welcome to our first ever customer roundtable on the show. I'm thrilled to be joined by three of our most recent PeopleSoft innovators. From Deakin University, Umesh Gupta is the lead of HR systems. From Disys, Firas Al-Hindi is the vice president of operations. And from CAR Global, John Bray is the director of financial business systems. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Firas, since Disys is a global staffing and managed services company, many of your resources are remote regardless of the circumstances. How did that affect your fluid rollout strategy?
Well, the fluid rollout happened a little bit before the COVID, but we benefited from that a lot. To your point, yes, our employees are spread by default from the beginning. The thing that we got benefit from is that our shared service team now had to work remotely and over different states and different countries. And that was also a seamless experience for us. And I think the fluid from a technical point of view helped us a lot in that transition as well.
John, you had mentioned, you were pretty candid, that CAR Global took some convincing to roll out Fluid. And in fact, I think you told me earlier that the team was even a little intimidated by the change. Was it worth it coming from someone who wasn't sort of gung-ho and on board from the beginning?
Most definitely. I can say, I don't know that my team gets intimidated by much, but I do on occasion. And certainly going into our latest PUM update, we had kind of originally investigated, going to the tools version of 8x7, but kind of unhooking Fluid, and we couldn't really find a good pathway to get there that felt comfortable. So we decided to really give Fluid a chance. And the more we got into it, we thought, okay, well, let's go as far as we can take it. So we've implemented Fluid homepages and work centers, approvals, expense report entry, mobile expense report entry, using page and field configurator. So we really tried to immerse ourselves in the entire Fluid experience, and I'm so glad we did. It really, on the back end, paid out very well. As you mentioned, we've been a PeopleSoft customer since 8.0, going through multiple upgrades and then a couple of PUM updates, and by far, by a significant margin, this was the most well-received upgrade or update to PeopleSoft in CAR's history. People really did love the more modern look and feel and the functionality, and again, the ability to use it on pretty much any device.
I was going to ask what the benefit was, and it sounds like a big portion of that was the user experience and the feedback from the users.
Yep, that and to our team as well. From, again, page and field configurator, we really dove into, made a number of customization removals using page and field configurator. So from my team's perspective, I think we feel like we're better set up to move forward with the application, because that is the idea now that we've landed where we've landed, is that we want to continue to keep up to it and keep up with it, and only add on to it and enhance it further. So I think we have, as you move along and using tools like that to lessen your customizations, just put yourself in a better spot to move forward.
Umesh, Deakin University has been recognized as a PeopleSoft innovator 4 times now. And you've talked about your aggressive multi-year innovation program that the university has in place. As you look across what you've done with PeopleSoft, what would you say has had the biggest impact that you've done? What's delivered the most value for Deakin with PeopleSoft?
I feel that everything that we've done, implementing new features, enhancements, removing customizations, repurposing frameworks, had some sort of benefit in different ways. But if I had to pick one, I would want to pick up something we introduced late last year. We automated the entire contract expiry management process using the activity guide framework. So before the implementation, our process was highly manual. It was done through spreadsheets, and there was no visibility, and could take weeks and months of follow-ups to get through the contracts in the system. And it had caused a number of overpayments and underpayments over the years. So we introduced the automation of the contract expiry process, and through the activity guide, a guided process for managers, administrators, including workflows and acceptance of the contract by the employees. We fully automated the process. We also made use of the email notifications. We repurposed them in a way, the HTML email notifications, that they came out to be looking like contracts. And that way we didn't have to issue any separate ones. Some of those things has saved us significant amount of time. Last year, around 500 contracts went through that process. So I would say if I had to pick one, that was the one.
And those are contracts for contractor resources.
So
People?
fixed term contract employees in the university.
For us, Disys caught my eye with a couple of integrations and process automation things that you've done as well. Let me talk first and get your feedback on something that you've done. And I have to say, you're the first customer that I'm aware of that's integrated PeopleSoft with Facebook Workplace, collaboration tool similar to Slack or Microsoft Teams. What did you do there and why?
PeopleSoft by itself has a wealth of information about our employees and about their transactions. We started using Workplace around the beginning of this year as a collaboration tool. And one of the benefits is that we started integrating PeopleSoft with Workplace, so our employees can enter their timesheets through bots in Workplace. And also with COVID, as COVID was started, we had lots of our employees who had to take equipment back home, and we did a bot for self-reporting, so employees can go and check out equipment and then check it back in, which makes it easy for them and for IT department to track the location of the equipment, and also to make sure that our employees are well equipped while they're away from the office. And also we had a bot that has frequently asked questions. So there's lots of information that you can get from, either from PeopleSoft via self-help, or you can go to Workplace and get your balance for PTO or paycheck calendar or vacation calendar. So you can do a lot of functions that you can do within PeopleSoft through Workplace, and that's all happened through integration. And we it was for us a little bit challenging in the beginning, but we had great developers and great staff that were able to make it happen.
On that note, I want to wrap up by asking each of you what you anticipate you will do with PeopleSoft in the next 6 to 12 months. So Umesh, what do you have on the list?
We need to go on to the fluid timesheets. It's part of a bigger project of casual engagement and payment process improvement. So we are hoping that we would revisit the fluid timesheet next year, and also looking forward to implement Kibana Analytics.
It sounds like for us, may be able to help you out with some fluid timesheet experience.
Yes.
For us, how about you? What do you have on the list?
Well, there's two main things that we're trying to do. Is one is it more integration with systems up, that come upstream from our from PeopleSoft, ATS and CRM, where we capture the relationship and capture our applicants and our consultants, integrating this information with PeopleSoft. And as we're doing this, improve analytics. So analytics is huge for us. Deep analytics, we're definitely trying to make it take advantage of it as much as we can. And we have our own reporting tool as well. So integrating all these pieces together, what we're trying to do is respond to changing business models or structure internally, deal with acquisitions a little bit better, and at the same time improve our predictive analysis. So based on the huge amount of information that we have, kind of draw future trends and future analysis for our business.
That's 2 votes for analytics, which is music to my ears, especially with Kibana coming out. We can't wait to get customer feedback on it. John, how about you?
In flight, we've got the implementation of the corporate card integration for PeopleSoft expenses, which obviously will help greatly with the current manual process of keying all that information in. We have one last business unit to put on expenses to replace, again, a very poor manual process that they're having to go through now. We're also in the process of converting our billing SQR invoices to BI Publisher to take advantage of some of the emailing functionality. We're implementing EFTs for our Canadian operations to match our US business processes. And then down the line, as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to definitely get to a tools patch and then get to 858 for the Kibana. Again, given that we run the financial side and we don't run PeopleSoft for HR, but we do run it for financials. I'll say Envision has served us well for a long, long time, but the ability to put more capabilities into the user's hands more easily is very compelling for us. So we definitely hope to get to 858, and the Kibana integration is the carrot there for sure.
Fascinating. Well, that's a good long list of stuff, and we're 3 for 3 with Kibana. So it'll be an exciting year, I think, to see how each of you has your experience unfold with it and what we see from the rest of the customer community. This has been a great conversation. I very much appreciate your time as well as your experiences and the insights that you've shared. Gentlemen, thank you again for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And now it's time for our top 5 tips. We've picked the published innovator stories that we think offer you some great insight.
Innovator insight number 1 comes from Loyola University, Chicago, who implemented Campus Solution Chatbot for improved student services using the PeopleSoft Chatbot integration framework. This chatbot has garnered 91% positive feedback from students because of its quick turnaround time, 24/7 availability, and an outstanding 86% successful conversation completion rate.
Innovator insight number 2 comes from FTI Consulting. Like many customers, they're taking advantage of our configuration and customization isolation features. FTI is one of the first customers to adopt our drop zones feature, which enables them to make changes to delivered pages without upgrade impact. They can now take features and fixes from any new upgrade image without having to re-implement those page changes.
Innovator insight number 3 comes from Hayes Recruitment Specialists. In order to take advantage of several new features from PeopleSoft, Hayes Recruitment Specialists adopted an agile, sprint-based methodology to deliver projects to their business. To cope with increased volume of business testing, Hayes adopted PeopleSoft Test Framework as their automated testing solution, allowing them to fully execute on their selective adoption strategy.
Innovator insight number 4 comes from Honeywell, who used Oracle Digital Assistant to reduce their operational costs and improve their employee experience in HCM. With multiple PeopleSoft customers now successfully using chatbots, it's a really good opportunity for financial and supply chain customers as well.
Innovator insight number 5 comes from First Financial Northwest Bank, a net new customer with implement Oracle PeopleSoft onto Oracle Cloud infrastructure in only 4 months with a minimal internal headcount, limited in-house service, and a tight budget. They committed to avoid the customization by using the latest functional capabilities out of the box, a native solution resulting significantly reduction of their TCO and IT OPEX, adding considerable value to the business.
So there you have it, the top 5 published PeopleSoft innovator stories that members of our team think you can put to good use right now. Do you have a favorite? Or better yet, do you have an innovation to share? Head out to PeopleSoftInfo.com and submit a nomination. It only takes a minute. And now, stay tuned as we wrap up the show with your In the Know update. Now, it's time to keep you in the know with PeopleSoft. Starting with our new product releases, we shipped FSCM Image 36 in June and Image 37 in September. We delivered HCM Image 35 in July, along with Campus Solutions Image 18 and Cloud Manager Image 11. The PeopleSoft team also delivered new educational assets. There's an image highlights video for the HCM, FSCM, and Cloud Manager update images. We posted a spotlight video that discusses transitioning your leased assets to the latest accounting guidance. And there are many new video feature overviews to help you learn more about some of our newest and most strategic features, including chatbots, Kibana Analytics, Fluid Work Centers, and much more. Our team is continuing to deliver a lot of blog content so you can stay up to date. The App Strategy blog has more than 30 new posts on some of our newest features, good customer insights, and upcoming events. The Tech blog has more than 25 new posts, covering important topics like running the Oracle Autonomous Database with PeopleSoft, conversational design best practices, and machine learning. And the Legs and Regs blog has important updates on regulatory changes in countries including the United States, Canada, the UK, Switzerland, Japan, and China. And, of course, make sure to attend a virtual event. Quest's marquee conference, Reconnect, is just around the corner on October 5th through 8th. Quest has worked with our team to retool the event to optimize for a digital experience. In addition to our roadmap updates and regular sessions, we'll be delivering new kinds of content like tech talks, quick tips and tricks sessions, hands-on labs, and customers and partners will be doing short demo sessions, regular sessions, and much more. Plus, the digital platform allows for chat and networking, which will add a whole new dimension to the event. Finally, I'm excited to announce that we have a brand new podcast series. Look for the PeopleSoft Chat podcast on the PeopleSoft YouTube channel or on your favorite source for podcasts, including Apple and Spotify. As always, PeopleSoftInfo.com covers all things PeopleSoft. Stay safe. And now you're in the know.
Good, Sparky.